around a lot of acronyms, and just to
Yeah.
remind everybody that Ivan is the identifying violations affecting our neighborhood. So when we're thinking about violations, really seeing that there's the micro and macro, and the more and more we record these and talk about them, and then ask about them, hopefully we can start seeing some change about them. And
Mhm.
so that's the theory, okay, and how we apply it is how much energy the community, and thank goodness we have a backbone organization like Green Action, and like their fans that surround them, like Ledge, and advocates, and all the a bunch of other groups who understand that we have to really fill in when needed. But what I wanted to say in the beginning, Delila was mentioning that we come from a care community, and care are
Right.
neighborhoods or regions of the management district, which is referred to as communities at risk. Okay. And it might, we might get desensitized, and oh yeah, we come from a care community, and we all hear these catchy little sayings, but really, when we start breaking down, what are we at risk of? And when we understand
Right.
that the risk is acutely hazardous, and for folks who did not study chemistry like Dalila, like myself, this chemistry is a hard one. Acutely hazardous means just a little bit is a big issue. Just a little bit impacts our health a lot. And so, I'd ask a lot and need to, and others like, well, with all that's going on in the neighborhood, with all that's going on in our world, why you got time for this? Like, how do you, why do you think this project works or these forums work? Because I believe in trust in each other. I believe in our neighborhood. I believe in the power of us learning things together, okay, and not just trying to tell each other how to do it. But that's where a forum like a committee comes in, and even though it can be a little bumpy and painful, and that's expected. I know that the integrity is there to understand that we're learning this together, but we're not. We're at a point where we're not just a lot of us have graduated. A lot of us, it's not just brain drain where someone goes, to the East Coast, or someone like Michelle would, you got your credentials outside of the state, but you came back home.
Right.
And I really want to give respect for folks who understand our social obligations to our neighborhood. This is one way to do so. So folks who do have those credentials, we have so many folks who have that academic background in our neighborhood. Look at what you're doing, Anietie, with your background, trying to organize on this forum with your background. I really want to highlight those folks and give them alternate means to offer their services, offer your insights, and as One Bayview has done it, I think this project is also related in that way, to understand that we need all these different specialized forces, kind of like a little bit Transformers. We come together, or Power Rangers, whatever, for the folks who are a little younger. But when we come together and we make this really impactful, kind of well-oiled demand, and that's a full package. I don't want to call this a machine because there's so much life at stake here, and even though it gets caught up in chemical equations, we start breaking them down, CH4, and we call it in science COX, NOx, and SOx, CO2, nitrous dioxide, sulfur dioxide. COX, NOx, and
Right.
SOx. That sounds catchy, but those impact our health. They're again acutely hazardous, right? And when we pinpoint it, when we understand it more, hopefully we could do something more about it. I just want to really give credit to One Bayview, who also shares a similar approach, and strategy, taking
Right.
our skills and offering them to at this level. So I just have to give special highlight and gratitude for that. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to chime in a few things. For those of you who've never been to an Ivan meeting, so I shared a little bit earlier about the stuff that we were trying to do as far as air quality and not getting exactly what we need, and just not knowing, like not realizing that the fight is, okay, so for example, the fight with developers in the house is before they build. Because once they get that green light, the city of San Francisco doesn't have the facility to do much of anything, which we didn't know. We're like,
Right.
okay, our letter, our MOU with these folks, you know, you said it was going to be this level of particulars. Then we literally went to them and said, okay, so when are you testing?
Mm,
Planning department said, we don't do that. We're like,
mm,
you should have told us at the very beginning, because we would have changed everything. So we went through this whole process, and then I went to an Ivan meeting like a long time ago, and I was like, this is hot. This is cool. Like, because she stood up in the room and said, no, 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 no. When I called, they must be here. I was like, okay. And she called and they were in the room. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. So one of the reasons why I'm doing One Bayview is so that more people can know about the good work that you folks are doing. So more people can take advantage of it. Like, I mean, it is so simple. I mean, look, it's even to the extent that I was actually in the meeting that you had maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and you're talking about the Ivan Network. And so just so you guys know, if you go to bayviewpollution.com or .org, it points to Ivan. Because I was like, sometimes people just need to know the simple things. And so we got together, just did that real quick, because what you're doing is we really want to support you. And it's just really, really powerful. And so for me, back to you, like, Delilah, so how many spaces are actually open on the steering committee? Is there like some places we can go to learn like how to like apply, and then the next question is, how will the 10 spaces be determined?
So there are two steering committee spots open. Our capacity is 5 residents, and we have 3, so we're looking for 2. In terms of how the sites are going to be decided, the steering committee will ultimately come with a vote. However, leading up to that vote, like I said, we want community input. We need to definitely figure out a little more of the science in terms of wind patterns, and because we don't want to have there's technicalities. You don't have an air monitor right next to a construction site, because depending on how the wind picks that PM up, it might completely blow over your air monitor. So, there's certain things that we have to figure there. Once we'll have all that, though, the steering committee will take all that information, process it, and we'll talk about it, and they'll ultimately come up with a vote for the 10 sites.
Awesome. So the commitment here at One Bayview is that we are going to keep in touch with these 3 amazing folks. And as more stuff sort of comes up, for example, I want to talk to them about, like, is there an email that we can share? And like, if we have more questions, is there?
Yes. Well, you can definitely get in contact with me. I'm the coordinator for the air monitoring project. So you can email me at dalila@greenaction.org. Again, dalila@greenaction.org. You can also call Green Action's phone number, which is, I had it, 415-447-3904 and 415-447-3904. I don't know about Michelle and Anthony. If you want people to contact you, you can definitely contact me. So that's how you do
yeah.
that.
So before I let you off the hook, though, please make the announcement. In August, you guys are doing the community forum. So you have a date?
Yeah, so the community forum will be August 24th. We are going to start at 9 a.m. We're still hashing out some details in terms of like where it'll be at, but I'll definitely put that out there once we figure that out. Hopefully we'll figure that out at this next steering committee, which is Tuesday. Also, the steering committee does meet every last Tuesday of the month. Right now, we've been meeting at 10 a.m. Either at Radio Africa or Ledge. if that doesn't work for folks, we can also talk about it. So yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely great.
Yeah.
And I know for folks like me, so there's the Ivan Network. That's a resource. So literally, you can go in, like I showed a little bit earlier, to the website and just populate things in. Delilah was so great to give her information to someone. She has steering commissions open. Sorry, 2 positions on the steering committee open, and they're going to be deciding on the air monitors. And there's going to be a really great session at the end of the month. I got an ask, I think, for you, Delilah, is that if there's any piece of this that we can bring online, we would love to be a partner with you guys on that. Even if we do a series as part of the workshop, like maybe we break it into like 3 or 4 sessions, get a bunch of people who could, who might not be able to make it. Please consider that a resource, because we're all about getting out to more people and more people and more people in various different ways. So with that, I think in closing, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to say one last thing that hasn't been said, or one last thing that you'd like people to know about. And we're going to start with Anthony.
Ooh, I like that. All right. Something that hasn't been said. Yeah. Well, we're hiring for another position within the project, which is very current, which is the technical assistant, in particular, the technician who would work on these, and we're actively hiring. We had a little cancellation last week, technical difficulties for Delilah, and we have one of our other steering committee. We were at the Bayview Library, all set up, ready to go, and things didn't go the way we wanted. But so we will be, we are still actively interviewing and hiring, hopefully this week. We have our steering committee. Just in maybe in parting is a word of gratitude to being that this is legacy work. We need to keep it timeless, and I appreciate the accountability of One Bayview. I really like the kind of 100-day like outlook on it, understanding like what do we want in 40 days, in 100 days. And I the ask on behalf of myself and for the greater, my colleagues here, my friends, my people, is hold us accountable. We want to report this. We want to share the information. We also want to be informed. So for show, we want to be back, and whether it's forum or maybe kind of we don't like to train people. We like to inform. We like to give education. We can. You can hold me accountable for that. Delilah and Michelle have so much going on. I'll take one of those to hopefully provide something that's dynamic and not just giving updates, but maybe involving folks more. So that's what I'm like to say is I want to be held accountable to that. Maybe in 100 days or less, we could circle back up and see where we can give updates as well as share something new.
Sounds good. Delilah.
Yeah, so about the air technician position that Anthony touched on, it is basically to do maintenance on the air monitors once they're up. It is a pretty flexible position. We project that the hours would be like maybe 10 a week. So if any community residents are interested in doing that, we're still hiring. In terms of One Bayview, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me represent Green Action and talk about this work. It's a really important work, and thank you for giving your platform so that we can reach, community members that I haven't been able to reach. Yeah, that's about it. Hopefully we can keep in touch, Anietie.
Oh, absolutely, without question.
We'll work on the community workshop. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Love it. And Michelle.
Wow. So closing out, I like Delilah and Anthony have said, I have a huge ask, which is if you can come out to these meetings, it is so important to hear from you, to hold us accountable, to make sure we're doing the kinds of things that you really want to see. And letting you know what else is going on around the neighborhood. As Anietie said, we actually, on some levels, do have direct access to the people who can make a change. Whether or not they will make a change, the depends on you guys showing up to this stuff, rather than just Michelle yelling at them or Dalila or Anthony yelling at them, right? So I've been meetings, the Environmental Justice Task Force meetings are alternating 2 p.m. at Radio Africa every third Wednesday, or the next Wednesday will be at 5 p.m. at 1800 Oakdale. July's was at Radio Africa in the mid-afternoon, and so August meeting will be at 1800 Oakdale, the Southeast Community Facility, at 5 p.m. And we did that because the government agencies, it's easier for them to come out midday, and some of our residents, it's easier for them to come out midday before the kids get out of school. But the majority of us work, right? And so those evening meetings actually provide dinner for you, and you can come out and you can meet, and we have forced the government agencies to actually show up after hours and remain for the whole meeting. So it's an interesting forum. And you can get a chance to meet some of your neighbors and find out what they're doing, since a lot of people participate. And steering committee meetings, which are the final Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. Everything I do is open to any community member who stops in. So please take advantage. And I am always on the hook for community, as are my fellow guests today. So make sure you show up. Make sure you let us know what you need us advocating for on your behalf. Anything. If you want me to hold up the sky for you, show up and let me know.
Perfect. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this today. It was really informative, really great. I'm looking forward to sort of like the next steps. You know, I will go on record saying I want one by my house, but of course, you know, it's all part of the community. So really, really looking forward to everything that sort of is going to come forward like from this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.